Hello students, I am Dr. Tanmay Bishwash. I welcome you all in my channel Chemistry, the Mystery of Molecules. So today's topic of discussion is Canadian tar sand or Canadian sand oil extraction and the chemistry associated with this process. And by the way, there is another video, environmental hazards of Canadian sand oil. I have uploaded in my other channel. I shall provide the link in the description box. Please visit to learn the story properly because the environmental impact of this process is significant. That's why it is important to learn both. Now, the content of today's discussion is what is that sand and its importance. Not only that, its difference with traditional oil and its mining. Subsequently, its purification and utilization for regular uses. So before going into details, one MCQ. How many isomers of octanes are possible? C8H18. Four options are provided. Please pause the video and write your answer in the comment box, and definitely at the end I shall provide you the right answer. Now question, what is this tar sand? This tar sand are the huge deposit of bitumen or extremely heavy crude oil or hydrocarbon. This material is like a semi-solid rock type of material and it consists of silica sand, clay material and water. So from this thing you can understand huge amount of impurity present in this material. So its extraction is little difficult and interesting. Question, where it is found? It is found in the province of Canada that is named as Alberta. You can see this is the province and here the region where the oil sand mines are found. These are the deposits. Now, why these oil sands are important? Because about 3/4 of total bitumen is estimated to occur in this Athabasca region of Alberta. And because of this reason, Canada secured the 3rd rank in the global oil reserve chart. So from this thing you can understand how much important it is. And by the way, you can see this is actually the oil. Now you will see this is oil, sir. This is a solid. Actually this is sand. That's why this is called sand oil. Now, why this is important for Canada? These oil sands make up to 97% of Canada's proven oil reserve. And they have been a major economic driver for Canada because it's a natural resource. Canada extract, purify and send it to corresponding neighbor US. But in this case, one point to be remembered, the quality of this crude is relatively lower. That's why huge amount of upgradation needed such that this oil meets the market demand. But if you look at the economic point of view, this Canadian oil sector estimated this investment in this sector estimated that 26.5 billion in 2017, huge money. And not only that, the most important thing, that is 1,40,300 people were employed in this region. So it's a huge boost job opportunity for Canadian citizen, mainly Alberta, people in Alberta. So that's why it's very, very important. But what is the difference of this thing with traditional oil or petroleum? Because this traditional oil found below the soil, we know, but this oil sand could be found below the soil or above the soil. Both are possible. Point number one. Second, this traditional petroleum is relatively less viscous than this oil sand. Consequently, this traditional petroleum has higher percentage of lower molecular weight hydrocarbon compared to oil sand, and that's why it is more energy rich. So it is better quality compared to this oil sand. And subsequently what happens, that refining this bitumen and production of oil from this bitumen is more energy intensive process and commercially less profitable compared to traditional petroleum reserve. And during this process, since it demands huge amount of energy, the carbon dioxide production or CO2 emission is significantly higher, and that makes this fuel as dirty oil. Generally, like we say coal as a dirty fuel, and coal fire power plants are not liked worldwide. Similarly, this is actually dirty oil because of huge CO2 emission. Now, how it produces? Two types of mine possible. One is surface mine. How it done? See, you can see here, these are the oil deposit, better to say oil sand deposit. First, it is extracted and filled into this truck, and second, they are mixed in a separator with hot water. Why hot water? Because these are very heavy, it's a heavy hydrocarbon crude, and they are not liquid at room temperature. Consequently, in order to make them liquid or flowing, heat needed, and that's why this is mixed with hot water. And second thing, after mixing, this hot water separate one direction and the crude separated, and during this process the aromatic hydrocarbon mixed with water, and these water are stored in this trailing pond, and which are the main reason for environmental pollution, and that's why this Canadian sand oil is in focus of criticism. Second thing, this Canadian sand is extracted below this boreal forest, which is a very important carbon dioxide sink. So this thing we also consider, because right now global warming and climate change creating lots of catastrophes, not only worldwide, even in Canada. The neighbor province of Alberta is the British Columbia, which have faces Canadian heat dome sometime before, and later very recently it have faced a huge amount of flood. So it's a really concerning issue for climate now. So this thing is really difficult, but in this context, one point that this water stored in this pond are recycled, but still, since huge amount of oil is produced, significant amount of this wastewater produced, and this is really a concern for the environment. Now second option, exploration of oil sand from underground mining. You can see first two pipes are put into the bitumen or oil sand layer, and in the above pipe steam, means heat through the is supplied such that this bitumen got molten and free flowing, and it is extracted through the below pipe. Now question is that how carbon dioxide helps here. Actually, in order to have enhanced recovery, carbon dioxide pump here with pressure, and it also helps to extract more oil. Now this we understood, and the collected oil is utilized in the refinery. Fine. So why the surface mining is done? Because surface mining created lots of pollution, forest degradation. This is because of output of hydrocarbon. For surface mining process, more than 90% hydrocarbon could be recovered, but whereas in this underground mining, less than, means near about, you may consider 30% oil recovered. So this another thing, it's energy intensive also, because bitumen is a solid material and you have to melt it using heated vapor. So you need to put huge amount of energy, and that comes through by burning huge amount of natural gas, and this makes the oil extremely polluting. But it's done not only for Canadian job sector, second thing for the energy security of its neighbor United States. Fine. So after separation, how it purified? Through three steps: fractional distillation, petroleum cracking, and upgradation. Let's discuss step by step. From the name you can understand, fractional means stepwise, and distillation. How? Based on the difference of molecular weight. Low molecular weight boils easily, low temperature, so they are collected in the top portion, and higher molecular weight collected in the down portion. But in this context, remember one thing, as I told in the beginning, that these these oil have less amount of smaller fragment hydrocarbon. So consequently, during this process, what we get? We get more number of high hydrocarbon compared to low hydrocarbon fuel like gasoline. So, and we know that the smaller hydrocarbon are less polluting compared to higher hydrocarbon. Consequently, petroleum cracking is utilized to break the higher hydrocarbon into smaller one. In this case, what they done? They send these long chain hydrocarbons into the first vaporize and send into catalytic cracker. In presence of heat and catalyst, they break down into smaller fragments. And similarly, like this previous setup, this fractional distillation column, this is also distilled, and based on molecular weight, they are collected. So in this case, what actually we are doing? Actually we are breaking higher fragments into lower fragments. But in this context, what we are getting? Actually we are converting alkanes or saturated hydrocarbons or original hydrocarbon into alkenes, smaller fragment with carbon-carbon double bond. So in this case, carbon-carbon, for this carbon-carbon double bond, the energy output got reduced. But what is our target ultimately? Our target is to get more energy instead of less pollution. So consequently, the quality of the oil is improvised. How? By hydrogenation, which eliminate the unsaturation. Now let's learn this thing little clearly. First, what happens, whatever hydrocarbon we got, in this case I have represented the example of octane, but this is not octane. Here in this case some diesel or higher hydrocarbons are taken to produce fuel like octane. Octane is a green fuel, but relatively everything is CO2 emitting, but it is relatively less polluting compared to diesel or higher hydrocarbons. So these have different type of breaking pattern. See, you can say that, sir, here one thing can break CC bond. It's true, during the petroleum cracking CC bond broken, but in this case it will produce methyl radical, that's very unstable, so please forget this option. Another is this bond breaking, so in this case it will produce this ethane and 6 molar carbon and this 2 carbon. So this ethane is C2 and hexane is C6. What is the other option? Other option is 3,5. So this is a C3 fragment, this is a C5 fragment. Another third option is symmetrical breaking. So it will produce, one is 4 means C4 fragment, and in this case alternatingly, means in one case one alkene can produce, for example ethylene, in another case ethane can produce. So these are the possible. So in this context, what we actually breaking, we are actually breaking the carbon-carbon single bond and we are producing carbon-carbon double bond, and this is actually hydrogenated. So produce hydrogenated to produce the final fuel with higher energy value. Now, so question is, why smaller hydrocarbon has higher energy output with respect to every molecule of CO2 production? And that's why smaller hydrocarbons are preferred, not only from energy output point of view but also from air pollution point of view, because they burn more cleaner way. For example, you see here methane, which is a C1 carbon 1 source, it burns in presence of oxygen, or better to say you may consider air, and produces carbon dioxide and actually 2 molecule of water. Whereas in case of ethane, it's a C2 feedstock, it burns in presence of oxygen and produces 2 carbon dioxide, 3 water. So if you consider the water production with respect to per molecule of carbon dioxide, in this case 1.5 molecule of water produced, in this case 2 molecule. If you check the difference between coal, which is considered dirty fuel worldwide, and the world don't want coal fire power plant because of this climate pollution, climate related pollution. Now, what is the difference between coal and petroleum? Petroleum is hydrocarbon. During its burning, it produces carbon dioxide along with produces water, whereas coal is purest form of carbon, you may consider. So during its burning, it can produce only carbon dioxide. So this additional water production releases significant amount of energy. That's why the energy output of petroleum is higher compared to coal, and petroleum is relatively less dirty compared to coal. And in this context, you can understand, increasing the carbon number in that fuel, the energy output reduces because water production reduces. So based on this concept, you can consider the octane C8 will produce more energy, means 2 molecules of octane will produce more energy compared to 1 molecule of this 16 carbon chain. And why this difference? Because if you see C8, it is C8H18, but in this case this unit, if it is CH834, so if you multiply, it will here 36 hydrogen, here 34 hydrogen, so ultimately less. And second thing, increasing the carbon number results in inefficient burning, which results in carbon particle production, and which is mainly responsible for air pollution. So from every point of view, the smaller hydrocarbons are appreciated, energy and pollution point of view. Now another thing, during this upgradation process, we have added hydrogen. How it is produced? This is produced by coal gasification process. How? First, coal is burned in presence of oxygen, or better to say air, and the process is called controlled burning. So in this case, it can produce both. One is carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Since the environment is controlled and we do not have more excess oxygen, so this carbon dioxide will react with the carbon again and will produce carbon monoxide. So end of this step, we will get carbon monoxide. This carbon monoxide can burn further and reacts in presence of vapor and produces carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Secondly, this carbon monoxide can react with water and produces carbon dioxide and hydrogen. So overall reaction, if we think that this carbon plus oxygen plus water produces carbon dioxide plus hydrogen, and this hydrogen is utilized into the upgradation process, or better to say hydrogenation of unsaturation present in the fragments after cracking. So this hydrogen is very important for the petroleum industry, but this is not green because it is associated with net carbon dioxide emission. That's why this is called gray hydrogen. I have already discussed in a dedicated video. This is not good because this is associated with CO2 emission and environmental pollution. We should always strive for green hydrogen, which is produced from electrolysis of water, and the electricity utilized here is produced from renewable sources. Now, whatever hydrogen is produced reacted with all these fragments and ultimately converted into saturated hydrocarbon. So hydrogen X percentage increases, so burning increases. And by the way, one question you may think that, sir, we are burning higher hydrocarbon to, for example, petrol, that is C8 species. We are adding hydrogen chemically and utilizing. Instead of that, we can use those alkenes, for example, this C8 16 plus 1 hydrogen instead of this octane. What is the problem? See, this octane is liquid at room temperature, hydrogen is gas. So it will create problem in internal combustion engine where the burning happens. So consequently, we can't use the energy properly, and air pollution probability is more in alkene case. So that's why this chemical step, that is hydrogenation, is essential to upgrades the fuel's energy output and less polluting nature. Now, not only that, if we have more hydrogen, then what is the benefit? What benefit we can have? For example, this hydrogen could be utilized for fertilizer preparation like urea. Generally, you have observed this fertilizer factory are closer to petroleum refineries. Why? Because during this petroleum refining processes, hydrogen is produced, and if it is excess, that could be utilized for this first ammonia production by Haber process, and second is this ammonia reacted with carbon dioxide and produces this urea, which is the most widely used synthetic nitrogen fertilizer. And interestingly, 50% of current global population exists because of this one reaction, that is artificial ammonia generation. So from this you can understand how much important this hydrogen is for our continuous food supply. Now, not only that, we observe many times this refinery burns fire and produces carbon dioxide. We know it is common thing. So why we don't use this fuel we burn? The shortest answer is such kind of hydrocarbon could not be recovered, and if they are released without burning, they will create more global warming and climate related problem. So that's why they burn, and ultimately CO2 is emitted. And by the way, a details discussion I have uploaded in a dedicated lecture. You may visit, it's really interesting. Now, so in conclusion, what you have learned, this Canadian tar sand produces oil for its utilization for regular use, and its export to its neighbor United States and earn huge amount of revenue. Not only that, it's dangerous for ecosystem, that is boreal forest destruction, underground water pollution, even has health hazard for the local people, destruction of green cover, etc, etc. And the most concerning is that carbon footprint is significantly higher, which makes this thing a dirty oil. So these are the environmental impact I have already discussed in the second part in my climate and chemistry channel. Now let's come to the MCQ. How many isomers of octane possible? Do not count the stereoisomer. Answer is 18, and in this case name of all 18 isomers are mentioned here. Now question I told, do not count stereoisomer. Is stereoisomer really possible? Obviously yes. You can see one isomer among the 18 is this one, and this center is asymmetric center. So in this case it can have two isomers. So in this way I request you student, please count how many optically active isomers are here in this list and write in the comment box. So this is the end of the discussion. Thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay blessed. See you in my next video.